Anger is a misunderstood emotion, and by the end of this video, you will understand why. And stick around for my story about how I lost my shit at an amusement park. That was tricky for me to say. But first, what is anger? Well, we've all felt it, right? We felt that rage fill us for the righteous indignation for something that was done wrong unjustly, or whatever it is. You feeling attacked by the teacher or mistreated or whatever that may be, that spark that ignites within you. It's a powerful emotion. It's honestly something that is secondary. It comes from another thing that we're facing. It's a response that allows us to act maybe when we would be stifled with fear or overcome with depression. Our anger can lift us out of that emotion. Of the negative polarities of emotions that we feel, there's resonances. Anger has a high vibration among those. It is something that you can use to get things done. So there's power in it. However, you first need to know where anger comes from. Anger does not originate solely from itself. It's actually something, they've done studies, that resides within the left side of your brain. Your left side of your brain is the thing, if you take a look at a book written by Ian McGilchrist called The Master and His Emissary, he studies the different hemispheres of the brain. And anger resides in the left hemisphere, which is where our language centers are found, where our ability to take the emotional feelings we have, the concepts, the creative ideas, the visions, and put them into a concrete, explainable, understandable format that can incite engagement from people in the world around us. That is the space that we feel anger, that part of our brain, because that part of our brain categorizes things very clearly. It wants to have very strict definitions of what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. All of that stuff, what is real, what is not, is in the left brain. And when those barriers are broken by something that is not fitting within what we believe is acceptable, our initial survival reaction that is triggered in our amygdala is anger. Anger comes from fear, disappointment, misunderstanding, feeling attacked. All of these things happen from anger because you have a set expectation and attachment to something that you think is going to be, and it doesn't get fulfilled. That's the trigger underneath your anger. So you want to understand when you're feeling anger, what ignited it, because it isn't just anger. And simply saying, well, you said something mean to me, is also not a reason. You've got to understand the emotional response that triggered that anger. When you said that mean thing to me, it made me feel stupid. And then I felt ashamed. And in my shame, I felt anger. That is the process. Understanding that gets you there. Anger is good though. When you begin to realize, I'm feeling anger and I am justified in this and I need to do something about it, often people reject anger within them. It's considered a bad emotion. It is not acceptable, so we deny it, but it can help us set boundaries. Perhaps someone continually puts more upon you than you are willing to accept, or takes credit for things that you are doing and you allow it to happen and you allow yourself to be put in a back seat. You are not setting boundaries because you will not allow your anger to surface. You just feel hurt, you feel sad, whatever those emotions that you will allow yourself to feel, you feel without allowing anger to engage and say, that's enough. You will not do this to me anymore. What are those boundaries that you need to set? You can use anger to help you, and your expression of anger can be appropriate. It does not have to be raging unless somebody's attacking you, like physically attacking you. Then you can rage, right? You can fight against that if you want. Anger helps us meet our needs. There are things that we need to get. Safety. There are things, that we encounter where our anger ignites in order to say, stop, we have to do this now, we got to get this done, because if we don't, we're going to die, or whatever that may be, right? Anger can help us make changes. It's a good thing when we can fully understand what is the driving force behind it and how to properly engage it. Uncontrolled anger, anger without any restraint, when we give in to the passion of it, can destroy relationships. It can destroy all kinds of things, right? It creates war. There is some real issues, and that's why we label anger as bad. But that's because when we ignore it, when we ignore what it's telling us and we ignore the underlying emotion behind it, we are caught in the throes of anger and we don't have a choice. And I want to give you an example of how this was really something that I experienced in my own life. I started practicing meditation a few years ago, and I was really excited. I'd been taking a course from this professor at a Road College. He had this great course on meditation. And he would go through stages, and I'd have exercises for each, and I was practicing, and he said, dive in, meditate every day, it's really important, and you're not going to see any evidence or benefit of meditation for months. It takes time to build. And I hadn't. It had been several months that I had started meditating, and I was not seeing any benefit in my own life until I was going to an amusement park with my youngest daughter. And we were dropped off outside the park, and we had to walk across a busy road that was exiting, people were driving out of the park, exiting from this road, and we had to cross it to get into the park. And my daughter was super excited to be going, and she was looking up at me, and I was standing to the right of her, and to the left of her was outgoing traffic coming along. And in her excitement, she stepped out onto the road without looking and checking to see if a car was coming. And I reached out and I grabbed her as a car almost hit her. And I pulled her back and was ignited with anger. And I said, "Go, go!" I shook her, kind of, "Ah!" And I saw her eyes glaze over with fear. And in that moment, because of my meditation, I was able to do that step to understand what was behind my anger. And what was behind my anger was fear. It was fear that I would have lost my little girl that I love. And in seeing that that was my response to fear and what I had done, it had ignited me to snatch her away, but it also ignited me to yell at her. And I didn't want her to feel bad for what she had done. And it was a simple mistake. But I was acting out of habit in a state of fight or flight. And my anger was being habitually what I had been trained to do as a kid. What would happen to me to save me? This is what we do, right? We lock these things down. And in that fraction of a second, I realized I'm scared, and I wrapped her in my arms. And I said in her ear, "Oh, Coco, I'm so sorry that I yelled at you. I am not angry at you. I'm scared because I don't want to lose you. I love you. Stick with me. We're going to be okay. I'm so glad you're with me here today." Set her down, and she held my hand and clung to my leg, and we walked across that road safely. And it transformed for me something that had habitually been a problem. Yeah, my daughter would have remembered that I had yelled at her and to look twice across the road and all those things as I berated her for not doing it if I was in my state of anger. And she would have been resisting going to this amusement park with me because she wouldn't have wanted to be in my presence because I was angry and had made her feel scared. I've seen those situations happen to parents. I've been involved in those situations as a parent. And this changed for me. It was a new place that I got to go because I now understood my anger is the secondary emotion. By dealing with the first, I can react better. So if this is you, embrace your anger in a way that allows you to understand where it's coming from so you can set boundaries, so you can take action, so you can do the things that you need to do in a controlled way where anger does not ruin for you what you potentially need to build or save or shelter. I'm James. I hope this helps you. Stick around for another video.